I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so item 3, we need a motion for the adoption of the agenda and consent agenda as the order of business, with identification of items to be taken off the consent agenda for discussion or separate action. Do I have a motion?
A motion to approve the agenda and consent agenda as shown.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right. Item 4, consider approval of consent agenda as adopted. A, to approve the minutes of the June 14th, 2021 regular Board of Education meeting. B, to approve the financial report for the period of July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. To approve bills for the period June 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2021 in the amount of $2,711,230.05. 5 cents.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right, item 5, we're at that point, as we all know, Richard York regrettably has resigned from the board. So we now have to fill the officer position of president. To do this, we need to get motion or nominations from board members for the person that we'd like to have as president. And from there, then we won't need to consider those that are nominated. So is there anyone that would like to nominate one of the members to be president?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Has anybody talked to you previously about if they have an interest in stepping up into that position?
No.
No?
No one's talked to me
Okay.
Or-
Would you be interested?
in being president.
Yes.
Oh.
So
Yes.
I nominate Bob Travis.
That's what you're getting at. I thought it was just a general.
It did, but I can't.
Okay, all right. Whew.
Yeah.
Okay. Nomination. Are there other nominations? Anyone?
I mean, if we hadn't thought about this ahead of time, if anybody else is interested,
Right.
please speak up, because I'd love to have somebody else nominate you also. Kathy, are you interested? No? Okay.
So if there are no other nominations, then there would need to be a nomination.
A motion.
A motion.
I make a
For-
motion that we hereby elect Bob Travis to be the president of the school board.
I second.
We have a first and second. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Well, thank you. So that now creates a new opening for vice president. So at that time, we need to go through the same process. We'll need a nomination for vice president.
If we go by tenure, it would be Sally.
I was just going to ask Kathy if she's interested in being vice president. I don't know your lifestyle and how, what's going on in your life, if you're interested in being in that position or not. Because that means if Bob cannot make the meeting, then you get to run it for that night.
Yeah.
That sounds like a yes.
Dan, do you want it?
Should we flip a coin?
Is that a yes or a no?
I mean, I'm willing to serve in that position.
Okay.
But if there is somebody else who is, thinks that is something that would fit them, that would be great.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm open to it as well. I've only been on the school board for 3 years, so.
Longer than you
longer than some, right? I was trying to think of how the seniority kind of flipped over here pretty quickly on me. I'm open to it, but not necessarily needing it either.
I nominate Dan Steiner to be vice president.
I second.
Thank you, Kathy.
Okay, so we have a nomination, but
Oh,
That's the motion.
that was, yeah, right now, we're just nominations, so are there any other nominations? All right, hearing none then, motion, can you make the motion?
Make a motion that Dan Steiner steps up into vice president.
I second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Dan, I have to go right now, so if you want to just.
Trial by fire.
All right, so that should fill all the vacancies of our officers. So we will now move on to item number 6, Board and District Leadership Strategic Planning. Dan?
Yes, the legislative update is the first letter there. So we have not, this is the 1 month out of the year where we don't meet formally with our legislators, but I have been in contact with 2 of them. I continue to be in contact related to the ongoing issues created by the budget. And so they are listening. They obviously didn't change anything related to my last conversations, but at least they know where we're coming from with trying to explain that the way that they wrote this budget and the way that it was ultimately signed by the governor leaves us with a fiscal cliff potentially out there if they don't address it in some other way. So that's kind of the angle I've been taking with them, is that they had the opportunity even within a biennium to adjust and move on the per pupil expenditure limit that we are allowed. That's what needs to be increased. Otherwise, when the COVID funds run out, all of our operating expenses will be up here, and we're still back in 2021 on our funding levels. They're going to have a pretty big gap across the state, and that's kind of trying to predict the future. So that's what I'm trying to explain and trying to help them understand and asking for relief related to that.
Did you use the I word? Inflation?
Many
Everybody uses it right now.
Yeah, inflation, yeah. Operating expenses always increase. Healthcare is not ever decreased. I've not seen that ever happen.
Do you mention with the many ways we're looking at reducing operating expenses? Anything we can find to kind of, hey, we're trying to work together here. We're not going to meet this alone. We need revenue increase, but on the flip side, operationally, this is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, we talk about all the conservation efforts that we do with, I think, as you're aware from the Facilities Committee, we've had, what's the name of the company come out? Clockworks. We should be saving somewhere in the area of $50,000 on our annual expenses for heating, cooling, electrical, just by the management of it through the system. So it's just an example, yeah, we're constantly saying, yep, we're doing our best, but as you know, our expenses are 80% people. And so we can nibble around the edges on these things, but it really, it's the people. But yes, so just to let you know, I'm still meeting, I'm still efforting in those regards, and those are good suggestions as well, Dan, and we gotta keep on working those. They have to know where we stand, and so that's what I'm trying to help them understand. So that's my report. Any questions or thoughts?
So you'll take us to the academic pillar of excellence then? Or,
would
is
be-
that,
That would
you're
be-
going to hand that off to
I'm
Dina?
gonna hand that off to Dina.
So last week I had shared some information that it is our intent to adopt the Wisconsin academic standards for math, reading, science, writings, and social studies, which includes our geography and history. And tonight I'm just asking that you adopt those as our academic standards for the year.
So So we need a motion.
I make a motion that we adopt the 2021, 2022 academic standards.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. So consider it approved. Adoption of the student-parent handbooks. Dan, do you want to go through this?
Yes. So at the Committee of the Whole, we had a discussion and presentation by both representatives from Riverview and the high school, and they talked about the different areas that they were going to be making some changes to the handbook, just generally for the public. As an example, we are adding tennis for the middle school for 5 through 8, and that was the major change. There's some language change in there, just the people's names, for example, that are on the board is one example of things that change all the time every year. Those changed as well. And then at the high school, we had, there's some grading scale consistency, there are some dress code changes, of the new schedules, because it's a block schedule, are presented. There was some discussion here about the language about lunches and the charges beyond the free lunch. That has been added to both the high school and then also to the middle school, because they do have the opportunity at the middle school to buy, they don't have à la carte, but they have an additional option to buy a milk, or they can buy 2 meals. And so the second meal isn't covered, but they still do the same debit language where it's not a ticket for lunch, they're using their debit card. So those items have been amended and changed and are in the handbooks, and so then it would just be needing approval.
So we need a motion to approve.
We'll make a motion to approve the revisions to middle school, Plymouth High School handbooks.
Can we do just one motion at a time? Just do the A motion, and then we'll do the B after?
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll make a motion to approve the 2021-2022 Riverview Middle School Student and Parent Handbook.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? And a motion for the high school.
Make a motion to approve the 2021-2022 Plymouth High School Student and Parent Orange Guide.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Both are approved. Thank you. Finance, building and ground, consider gifts and corresponding budget adjustments. It's a long list.
Yes, we have a very gracious community and a wonderful Plymouth Education Foundation that grants opportunities for kids and teachers and all kinds of things. So I'll be going through the list first of the gifts from different areas. And again, thank you, community, for your generosity. A donation of $493.64 from the Plymouth Education Foundation for Osmo Learning Systems for the Fairview Elementary School. And Osmo Learning Systems are hands-on manipulatable things that go along with your iPad stuff. So it's not just screens, it's taking that screen and actually doing something with it. So just in case people were wondering what Osmo was. A donation of $11,280 from the PEF for a laser engraver for Riverview Middle School. Very cool. A donation of $11,270.06 from the Plymouth Education Foundation for the Agri-Science classroom for movable lab carts for the classroom. And those are already there and installed. A donation of $5,165.80 from the Plymouth Education Foundation for art displays at Plymouth High School. A donation of $466.19 from the Plymouth Education Foundation for Literacy on Fire for Fairview Elementary School. A donation of $479.19 from the Plymouth Education Foundation for Feeling Forest for Riverview Middle School. A donation of $74.73 from the Plymouth Education Foundation for mindfulness yoga for Riverview Middle School. And a donation of $473.03 from the Plymouth Education Foundation for storytelling space for Horizon Elementary School. A donation of $2,500 from America's Farmers Grow Communities for Parkview Elementary School. And a donation of $480.66 from the Wisconsin Art Foundation Association for the Plymouth High School. A donation of $2,000 from the Gene Haas Foundation for tech ed equipment at Plymouth High School. A donation of $1,138.22 from PTK for the field trip transportation at Parkview Elementary School. A donation of $517.29 from PATH for planners at Horizon Elementary School, and a donation of $183 from the PTO for planners at Fairview Elementary School, and a donation of $1,140.71 from the PTO for field trip transportation at Fairview Elementary School. And all the adjustments will be made along with that after they're approved.
So I need a motion to approve the gifts and the corresponding budget adjustments.
I make a motion that we approve the donations to the district financially.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? And to echo what Dan said, big thank you to the community. All right, Dan, oh wait. We're now down to a period of public participation to recognize those who may wish to present, address the board. Is there anyone that wishes to present to the board?
Is there anyone on the computer that would like to present? If you do, you may have to unmute.
Right. Hearing of none, we will move on to the board liaison reports. Community Ed, Sally.
Community Ed is still very active. For families with younger children, Fridays, they have play groups that get together at different parks. You look on the website as to which park. Each Friday, they have that through August 13th. Here at the high school, we have water exercise classes. We have the fitness center. There's also hiking available, pickleball, and trail running. They also have dog obedience if you have a new dog that needs, or an
To run
old
down a
dog
trail.
that still needs dog training. Go onto the website and look up Community Ed for anything else.
Great.
That's it.
Thanks, Sally. Foundation, I'll update on that. We are in the planning phases and solicitation phase. As you can see from the donations made, there were 8 donations that we approved this month. Most of those being the mini grants, which are the grants that the foundation gives to teachers who have applied with proposals, and the dollar amount is $500 or less. They're great ideas, and it's great to see. And the foundation, we're just excited about it. So our fundraiser this fall during homecoming will focus on the mini grant and raising money for mini grants. So if you're out there in the community, we are looking for donations, gift baskets, other silent auction items. And if you have something that you'd like to donate and help us raise more money for mini grants, please contact Andrea at the foundation or myself or any other foundation member. So, thank you. And Family Resource Center, Dan Steiner.
Yeah, so they want me to do a little presentation on a few of the events that they have coming up. First one on the list is called Boogie Stacks. It's basically trying to find a way to have your children actually eat what you give them for dinner. I chose yelling at them tonight, but this seems like a little more fun. July 20th is a date, it's 9:30 to 10:30 a.m., and you can go to Zoom or at Generations. Dog Days of Summer is a way of teaching your child how to safely approach dogs and play with pets. That's coming up on August 11th. It's from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m., and that's held at Generations as well. Next one is the Power of Positive Parenting Seminar, finding ways to, like when your toddler doesn't eat, your 6-year-old won't pick up the toys, and how to deal with that in challenging environments. That presentation's from September 14th. It's from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It can be found on the Zoom link. And then all these events can be found on the Family Resource Center webpage at familyresourcesheboygan.org. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. That moves us to item 11, personnel. Dan?
Yes, quite a bit of personnel at this time of year always. So again, a little bit of a list. We have some resignations that I'll go through that list and we can make a motion for all of those resignations.
All right.
And then we have some hires and we can make those all together as well. So first of all, the board would consider the resignation of Francis Kane, physical education teacher at Riverview Middle School. Francis, AKA Butch, has been with the school district for 16 years. Also has coached numerous sports. The board will consider the resignation of Rebecca Sipple, second grade teacher at Fairview Elementary School. Rebecca has been with the district for 10 years and also was a coach of teachers. The board will consider the resignation of Melanie Peterson, fourth grade teacher at Horizon Elementary School. Melanie has been with the school district for 5 years. The board will consider resignation of Mitch Tempest, special education teacher at Plymouth High School. Mitch has been with the district for 2 years. And consider the resignation of Sarah Ellinger, special education teacher at Riverview Middle School. Sarah's been with the district for, it says 1 year, but she had a stint previous to that for 5 years. So in total, she was with the district for 6 years. And Sarah was also one of our coaching types. So those are the resignations.
So I need a motion to approve the resignations.
I make a motion that we accept these resignations of all these teachers, and thank you for their time here.
Second?
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right.
Okay, and then for some of their replacements, consider the approval of a 100% contract for Todd Hunt to be a third grade teacher at Fairview Elementary School beginning 2021-22 school year. Todd's been with the district already for 20 years in various roles. Consider the approval of 100% contract for Amanda Tauschek to be a special education teacher at Plymouth High School beginning with the 2021-22 school year. Amanda received her bachelor's degree from Alverno College. This will be Amanda's 13th year of teaching. Consider the approval of a 100% contract for Laura Arbuckle to be special education teacher at Riverview Middle School beginning with the 21-22 school year. Laura received her bachelor's degree from the University of Oshkosh. This will be Laura's first year of teaching. And we need a motion there.
I move that we consider, or that we approve the 100% contracts as listed.
Motion and second. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right.
Okay, so we have some other staff news that we don't need motions on. I'll read those. Sarah Pethin, special education aide at Parkview Elementary School, has submitted her resignation. Sarah has been with the district for 1 year. Cindy Musial, special education aide at Parkview Elementary, has submitted her resignation. Cindy's been with the district for 5 years. Melissa Hill, special education aide at Fairview Elementary, has submitted her resignation. Melissa's been with the school district for 3 years. Laura Mosley, special education aide at Fairview Elementary School, has submitted her resignation. Laura's been with the school district for 3 years. And Dean Yeager has been hired as full-time custodian at the Plymouth High School. No action required.
That moves us to item 12, travel. Dan?
And that item was that the board is being asked to consider out-of-state travel, and that request is from Tracy Heinbuch, agri-science teacher at Plymouth High School, to take students to the National FFA Convention, October 26th through the 30th in Indianapolis, Indiana, and also to the Illinois Horse Fair, March 2nd through 4th, 2022 in Springfield, Illinois. This request is consistent with board policy, and the expenses will be paid for by the students and families through fundraising.
I move we approve the out-of-state travel request.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Do we know how many kids are looking
No, I think that is yet to be determined.
at? All right, all right.
We usually have a pretty good representation,
Usually it's
though.
for the one convention, right?
The Indianapolis one especially, yeah.
Okay.
We do well.
Great. No other discussion, then all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right, no items for the consent agenda. Brings us to item 14, President's report. Well, I guess that's me now. I'll just say, first of all, thank you. I'll try to do my best as president. And really what I'd like to reflect on is just a big thank you to Richard. He was an excellent president, excellent leader. I think he was a great guy to have as a mentor for our whole board. Richard was a good listener, and he recognized the role of the board, and he kept us on task. And I will do my best to do the same thing, to keep this board focused on what is our responsibility and where we can lead in this district and support our administrators in the execution of the 4 pillars. So again, if Richard is out there and listening, a big thank you for the time that he gave this group, and he will be missed. And that's my report. Dan?
All right. Student and staff accomplishments, I'd love to put those first. I'll start with some staff accomplishments. As you know, we created an online school in our elementary last year, and we had to have teachers that stepped up to the plate in order to do that. And we get letters, and they get thanks all the time. I just wanted to read a little bit of one of the letters from one of the parents about them. And it's just sprinkled with thank yous and everything, but the person that wrote this letter said that her daughter loved Amy and Abby, 2 of the teachers there. And that would be Amy Copine and Abby Price. And she felt, along with other things, that the teaching group really nailed it. She said, I feel Judy and Lori nailed it. It was a discussion about responsibility, but also understanding and high achievement expectations, but yet, living through an online world and learning it together. They really did an outstanding job. Your virtual teachers are an incredible bunch, turning an unprecedented situation into a fruitful experience. I cannot praise them or thank them enough for their hard work and patience this past year. My kids certainly enjoyed having them, and I certainly appreciate them. And again, they were Judy Wolfel, Lori Brown, Abby Price, and Amy Copine. So that's who she mentioned in the letter. So shout out to them. Well done. And I always ask the principals for any recognitions that they'd like to do at this time of the year or for every meeting. And right away, Jason came back, and a number of others did too. At this time of the year, the custodial staff and the support staff are going great guns, prepping rooms, changing rooms, painting rooms, grounds work, updating things. We're fixing the tennis courts, and that's rutting up the yard, and so they're unrutting the yard. And And all the buildings are getting cleaned, a nice deep clean. So thank you to all of them and all the support staff who are prepping for all the kids coming in as well too, with schedules and all of that. So shout out to them. And as far as what's going on out there in the kid accomplishments as well, we didn't announce this the last time because I don't think we knew, but our Panther girls soccer team was in the Division III state tournament on June 25th at Uline Soccer Park in Milwaukee. Plymouth defeated Ashland 2-1 in a semifinal game, but lost to McFarland 4-1 in the championship game. So they were a second-place team, but that's still a great accomplishment. Wonderful.
Fantastic.
And our Panther group, boys and girls, also sent 18 athletes in 8 events to Division II state track and field. The boys' total team tied for 16th, and the girls' team tied for 36th. And we had a number of place winners in both relays and individual events in that event. So it was a great event. And sports are getting ready to start, upcoming here. We will begin, football is the first to start, August 2nd already. So right around the corner, and WIA just put out a little bit of guidance, and it looks like they're kind of recommending proceed as we finish the year with, typical play, but mitigating strategies with, not sharing water bottles and all of that, and minimizing non-performance contact and that kind of thing. So it looks like the sports seasons will begin and commence kind of as per usual. And I'd also like to have just a shout out to the summer school staff, because it's performance time at the end of summer school. The kids that have been painting, or the kids that have been doing presentations or plays or songs, and they're all singing their songs and they're getting ready for their performances. I believe they're this Thursday for the most part. So that should be an exciting thing. And they sound really good, the kids that were singing in here today. So that's the student and staff accomplishments. School district update, just mentioned summer school. We've had we're almost near the end of our summer school time period, and our students have been in the building, out of the building, doing pretty much normal activities with less mitigation than what was happening in the beginning, obviously, of last year. Likewise with all the other school districts in our community that currently have an ongoing summer school program. And as of this point, nobody has reported one single positive case among all of those students. So that's encouraging, and part of it, everybody believes, has something to do with people getting vaccinated, at least those that can. So there's less of a population for the virus to infect, and so hopefully more people keep on getting out there and doing that, because that will help all of us stay in school. We've also had, in other places as well, have had activities like softball tournaments and basketball tournaments and the like happening in our district, but in many other districts as well. And again, to this point, I've not been made aware of anybody that has had any kind of a positive test. So hopefully that continues, and we are looking forward to, we've had our district planning retreat, and that next week we have some more guidance coming at us from our local public health, but we should be having some updates to our families and our staffs about any kind of anticipated mitigation for the coming semester. Knock on wood, we are hopeful that we can continue as much more of a normal start to the coming year. But remember, the Delta variant is out there. It doesn't seem to be, it's here too, but it's not huge. But it looks like if we can get things done here in the proper way, I think we can start almost normally. So more to come on that as we get moving forward. I want to throw this out, this doesn't require any action, but something to think about for our coming meetings in August. We've had the format of having an online option for these meetings for the last, since COVID started. It does present obstacles to good communication. It does have some issues with context and those types of things being lost in translation because of the arrangement. And I'm just asking to consider that we go back to a typical board meeting where it's an in-person only board meeting. We could start it in September, like along with the rest of the school year, and then it, it kind of gets back to what typically has always been the case. Just as a FYI, all of the other school districts, can't speak for Sheboygan, they weren't in our last superintendent meeting, but all the other school districts in the Sheboygan County have either gone away from that or never even started it. So just as an FYI. There are some issues with, the communication and lack of good technology in different places that make it somewhat problematic.
How many people have joined in the last month? Like, how many's on tonight?
Right now, we have 5 people, and those are district employees minus one that I think is a community member.
Has that community member, do you know, been on all the other ones?
That I don't know. I don't watch who's actually connected.
Yeah, I mean, I guess access is the thing, right? You hate to get rid of it if it would preclude someone from participating that could not do it otherwise. Is there any way it could be something a person could request if they, if they really wanted to attend the meeting, and could it be something upon request?
Well, we had done it before for board members. If you remember,
Yeah.
we had, Jamie was in a different location for a couple of meetings in a row, and so she requested that. I mean, this is.
we are publicly broadcast, so, but I just wonder
Right.
if there is
Oh.
if there is a individual that wanted to speak and for whatever reason,
Yeah,
I don't know.
how about if we, excuse me, put it, get it out there through the paper or however else, and say that we are thinking about not doing it like this anymore, and what are people's feelings about it? Would they because I do not have Channel 14, if that's where it's, so I have no access to it. And if somebody like, that has been coming on the last few months or the last year, if they don't have access to it, then maybe it would be best to keep this going like this. But if they do, then they can watch it on TV.
Well, and there are two different issues there. One is there's the interactive nature of this format, which is kind of trying to replace the ability of us all to be in the room because of COVID. So that's the one side. The other part is they do have access. You could just send this out on a YouTube channel without public
without
access
the
either.
interaction.
And so you'd have two ways of getting it.
Okay.
And if people wanted to come in, they could come in here too. But this is
Right, it's.
this is not, I'm proposing that that we talk about it next month, but just maybe to think about it. And you could probably ask some folks.
You could ask people too and
Mhm.
just see. I don't think we've had that many people actually come in other than staff members, right? So.
Save 1 or 2 meetings, I think.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
bigger issues.
So, and maybe for bigger issues, but.
Mhm.
Is it one of those positive takeaways that we got from COVID? Is really what I was thinking. Is this a better format of doing it this way than just streaming it on TV? Possibly.
Yeah.
And do we want to take that out of COVID and use it for the next 5 years? I don't know. I think like if you think about streaming basketball games, theater stuff, plays, all that stuff. I don't know if we were doing that before COVID, and it seems like people loved it.
Mhm.
It was a huge win.
Right.
I haven't heard the same about our school board meetings, but
Well, I think that You know, there is the interactive piece, right? That's the only difference, is you can watch the school board meeting on TV if you have nothing else going on. But, so it's really, what you're missing if you're watching on TV is interactive. But honestly, the interactive piece, if you think about it, there was one meeting where we had people actually speak.
And I
Other
can
than
say
that.
from my experience with a different meeting that we had at the high school, we had quite a few people that came digitally, and it was more frustrating for those who attended virtually because they couldn't hear well, they had issues with when they wanted to try to speak. So it ended up, being something that we thought was going to be a real positive experience, and for those that attended virtually, it was very frustrating because they couldn't see the presentation and all of that. So, I guess we just look at what our ultimate goal is.
Yeah, as long as they have access to it, be it on Channel 14, or is it on YouTube every meeting?
Not necessarily. What we normally do for Channel 14 is I believe we've been recording it and playing it back throughout the month. So it's not live, but it does play
Right.
back multiple times.
Okay.
But if there's another way to see it besides Channel 14, because I couldn't watch it then.
What about like parent-teacher conferences? Those were done virtually last year, and there was a lot of benefit there. I mean, I think for the teachers and for the parents, especially if you're traveling or something, and mom's home, dad's away, or vice versa. I think that's the nice part about, what we tried to do with that, I forget what it was discussing the block schedule.
Right.
And for a lot of people, maybe weren't able to be there because they're traveling or whatever, or at a high school basketball game or something. They could watch it on their phone, but yet, the sound and the imagery just wasn't long
Right,
enough to.
and when you're doing a conference, that's one-on-one, it's only those two connections, and then that's a little bit smoother. And I do believe a lot of the teachers are going to continue, that is an option for families throughout the year.
Well, why don't, we don't need to make this procedural anyway, so we don't need to make a decision on that tonight, right?
Yep.
And why don't we think about it, and then at our next meeting, we can decide if, which way we want to go with this, all right?
Okay, I had one last item here. We do have, with Richard's resignation, we do have a school board vacancy. And so we did post it, but I just want to make sure in case, so it gets out there, other people watching on TV 14 on the playbacks, that they are aware that the Plymouth Board of Education is seeking candidates to fill a vacant position in Area A on the board due to a recent resignation. Candidates must reside within the Plymouth School District boundaries and live inside the city limits of Plymouth to count for this one. Interested candidates should submit an application for appointment to fill a school board vacancy, and that application is due by Thursday, August 5th, 2021, to the district office at 125 South Highland Avenue in Plymouth, Wisconsin, 53073. You can mail it or you can drop it off. Candidates will be asked to attend the committee of the whole meeting on Monday, August 9th at 5:30 to give a brief introduction and answer questions. Candidates will also be expected to attend the August 17th Board of Education regular meeting on Tuesday at 5:30, where the new board member will be appointed. By statute, a majority vote of the board is needed to fill the vacancy. More information about the characteristics of a board member, timeline, and reelection can be picked up in the district office or call Katrina Henschel at 920-892-2661. And that is all.
All right. And with that, we're at item 16. I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.